How's it? Welcome back to the channel. So let's hop into a quick video or 2 or 3 maybe, I'm not sure how many I'll make, on hypnagogic meditation. And so this came up actually because I was talking with a buddy of mine about it a couple days ago. And he's like one of the few friends I have left who I haven't given this spiel to before already. So I had to start at like the very beginning of it with him. But I would assume that the vast majority of the people who watch my channel are probably already very well aware of this whole hypnagogic state. But if not, here's like a super quick recap of it. So hypnagogic, sometimes called hypnagogic or hypnagogia or hypnagogia, is basically like this stage 1 of sleep area where mental thoughts and images get a lot more visual. So on the whole meditation front of this, what you essentially want to do is you want to get to this hypnagogic state. And then once these images, these hypnagogic images start to pop up, then you want to switch to them and start to use that image or thought as your object of attention. So a good way to get there while maintaining lucid awareness, because we pass through the state every time we fall asleep, where we're just not normally lucidly aware to the fact that we're in it while we're in it. But a good way to get there lucidly is to simply meditate your way there, typically with like some type of open awareness style meditation where you're watching these thoughts pop up, you let them go, you let another thought pop up, you let it go. Maybe these, sooner or later, these thoughts will start to get more like almost like movie, like you're watching it on a screen, like you can actually see the image or, kinesthetically feel the image or hear it or something. Then once that happens, pick a thought or something you want to follow and then try to stick to it. Kind of on that note, something you can totally do and you should do is keep letting these thoughts go as you're getting deeper into this stage 1 area. Then when you find a thought or story or narrative you want to follow, pick that one to use as your object of attention. I know sometimes open awareness style meditation, especially it was like to my friend, can just seem really confusing. Like, I don't even understand how you're supposed to do it, right? Do you just follow your breath and notice kind of like a different style of meditation, but you can follow your breath at first. Then once your mind gets quiet, then you can switch to this open awareness thing. But, some good kind of training wheels forward to get yourself used to doing an open awareness meditation is to do a sound meditation where you want to sit someplace with background noise and then just listen to whatever sound rises to the level of your awareness and catches your attention. Make a mental note of that sound, drop it, and then wait for the next sound to catch your attention, and so on and so forth. So this is a really good intermediate practice to doing open awareness, because unless you say like, somebody's down the road, let's just laying on their horn, beeping it nonstop. If they just beep it once, you hear it, you make the mental note of it, it's very easy to drop once they stop beeping the horn. You can just wait for the next, sound, aka thought, if you're doing open awareness meditation, to come up, make a mental note of that, drop, and then just, keep that process going. So after talking to my friend about it, I made sure to come home, that it was the next day actually, but in the middle of the day, I was like, man, I haven't like sat down, or I guess lie down. You should always do hypnagogic meditation lying down, right? Because you want to get to the stage 1 of sleep area, obviously. But I was like, oh man, I should do a meditation, a hypnagogic meditation today, specifically focusing on like the progression of it. And so I was lying down and I had this kind of, behind my closed eyes, I had this kind of like paler center where if you close your eyes and you actually like pay attention to what's you're seeing behind your closed eyelids, it's not going to be like a uniform, even pitch blackness. There'll probably be some kind of lighter areas. You might see some kind of like light flashing or a single flash. But anyway, I had this kind of pale area in the middle and I heard a plane fly overhead. Right. And I wasn't doing this sound meditation at the moment. I was just doing open awareness style. But then when I heard the sound, it made me think of an airplane. And then I noticed inside of this pale center that I was seeing in my mind's eye, there was like an outline imprint of an airplane. So that's just one of the things you may notice as you're kind of getting deeper into the state, which is a great sign. Then you just know you're getting deeper into it. Stay there with it as it starts to build and progress deeper. If you are seeing that pale center, or maybe like a flash or a flashing of a light, a good way to introduce some levels of control into this, because as I've said, not yet in this video, but in tons of my old videos about this stuff, one of the reasons why I love this whole hypnagogic state and doing hypnagogic meditation is I find it works basically the exact same mental muscles that are worked within a lucid dream. So it can be great training grounds for it because it's so much easier and reliable to get to this hypnagogic state than it is to try and get, lucid while you're in REM. So a good way to introduce some type of influence and control into this state early on is if you're seeing this kind of pale center or that flashing light, try to make it twist. So I always prefer to twist it like back and forth versus just kind of like trying to twist it constantly in one direction. which I have used before, and that also works as well. But I find it easier, especially in the very beginning states, to kind of just go back and forth and make it move. That's a nice way to introduce some movement and to kind of get you deeper into the state and get your awareness locked onto where you want it to be. If you're only seeing still images, so that's great. That also means you're getting deeper into it. Don't worry about anything. Keep doing what you're doing. Eventually, those still images will come packed with narrative, and it will get more movie screen-like, essentially. And something else that my buddy brought up to me when he went home to try and do this himself, and he was texting me later. He was saying how he feels strained, like some of his eyeballs would feel strained, because like when he closes his eyes, especially early on when you first lie down to start to practice, this can happen sometimes, where you're looking too much with your physical eyes, and you obviously don't want to be doing that. You want to be looking with like your third eye, for lack of a better word. So a good sign to notice when you're kind of getting past this whole looking with your physical eye part is they'll tend to drop, like once they relax, they'll kind of drop down to the mid center. And then you can start to kind of focus more on looking through here versus you're trying to like look with your actual real legit eyeballs. So a couple other things. So a nice way, as I said, that this hypnagogic meditation practice lines up a lot with like a lucid dreaming practice. And even when you're in a lucid dream, when you're controlling yourself for some aspect of the dream, everything else outside of that is being served up instantaneously by your subconscious mind, which can be a very neat thing to witness and see. So a good way to kind of get a sense of what that is like in this hypnagogic practice is, so say like you have this kind of one image pop up. So when I came home the next day and tried this out, this was the experience I was having. So I had this image of these two people walking, right? And once that popped up, I just held on to that as my object of attention. And then as I was watching this one kind of just like a vague, ill-defined picture of these two people walking, I started to notice that the surrounding area around them started to get built out. So now I could see, like, while I'm watching them, I see, oh, wait, I can actually tell from the peripherals that, they're in this rocky desert-like area. I stuck with it. Then it started to be like they were walking around this mountain where like had the mountain wall on one side and like a cliff on the other, and they're going down this path. And also, whenever you get to the state, they come packed with narrative. And I don't remember the narrative now because I didn't, once I was done, try to make note of that part of it. But I knew where they were going. So a nice way to introduce some levels of control into this, because I was in the third person view, right? A lot of times this hypnagogic state is more like you're watching something versus like REM style stuff where you're more in it, like in waking life. So I'm watching them in third person. So what I do to kind of introduce some levels of control and kind of work these lucid dreaming muscles is I pulled back my view really far so I could see them. And I knew that they were going around this large mountain peak to want to come out on the other end of this path. So to kind of speed that process up and work on controlling it some, as I pulled back, I simply just tried to make them / anticipate them / expect them to come out instantly on the other side and then save all the time it would take, to actually go and walk that whole path. Because even when you're in, when you're in a lucid dream, man, time is of the essence, right? If you're trying to go someplace far away, if you could just teleport there instantly and get there right away, you could save yourself some valuable minutes there too. And the same thing can be said for this whole hypnagogic state. Sometimes you'll be in it, you're having fun, you're working on these things, then your significant other says, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And you're like, "Man, I was doing something at that moment." But nonetheless, so time can always be of the essence. So if you happen to see that and you want to work on these little things to kind of work on influence the hypnagogic scene, that can work really well. It could even work, say, if you have like somebody like in a room and they're like walking to the other corner of the room. Instead of having them walk there, just try have it scene jump and have them appear over there. Kind of the same technique, really. But anyway, so I guess that was just one video. That's hypnagogic meditation. If you're interested in it, I got a ton of other stuff, kind of older series I put together. You can search those out. Or, of course, just shoot me a question. You want to hop on a call or something and talk about it with me just one-on-one. By all means, I'm down for that and I'm open to it. So just, holla at me. And one thing I've had to say in the last video is, as you're watching the center of your attention and you can notice like the surrounding areas be built out automatically by your subconscious or dreaming mind, this can be really useful when within a lucid dream to kind of start edging the dream in certain directions you want to take it, because it can be hard to just instantly switch from like one scenario to something completely different. But if you're watching the surrounding area of the dreams, lots of times you'll see like little kind of random strange stuff, and if you can follow that path, it can start to lead like free association style to a more desired direction you want to take the dream. So watching the stuff around the dream, on the sides and the peripherals, is a very useful thing to kind of just make a constant practice of your regular lucid dreaming practice.